So this session will be recorded so that everyone will have an opportunity to look at it again. And for any suppliers that didn't get to come today, they'll be able to view this recording at a later date. Okay. Oh, and someone else. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. People are still joining. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay. Admit all. It's quite a crowd. So this request for response is number E101. It can be found on the Department of Administrative Services Connecticut website. The Department of Administrative Services are the statewide purchaser for all public agencies in Connecticut. All public agencies are required and municipalities are required to post all of their bids on that site. So that's where the bid documents are. And if you have not had a chance to get to the bid documents, you can contact me at vendors@ctlibrarians.org, which is on your screen. And the bid went out on March 8th, and it's due back on April 12th, 2022 at 2 o'clock. For public bids, we open all the bids at the same time, and we don't open them until after the published due date, so that everybody has a fair and open chance to win a contract from the Connecticut Library Consortium, or, you know, indeed any state contract has that same stipulation. I'm going to start by admitting Pam. I'm going to start with the bid document itself, digital resources. First of all, let me just hide my own face. First of all, who is Connecticut Library Consortium? So we are the resource center for the 900 plus 987 Connecticut libraries. They all join the consortium so that we can do collaborative services for all the libraries at the same time. Usually it's large bulk contracts for things that libraries don't necessarily want to go out to bid for on their own. We have several contracts, including books, non-print. We have subscription management, library furniture, and now the digital resources bid. The way we come to decide what we're going to bid on is that we send out a survey to all the members. They choose all the services that they want to do together, and then we put together a bid on behalf of all of them. So normally when we have a bid like digital resources, we're going to be requesting resources on behalf of academic institutions. We're going to ask for resources on behalf of public institutions and K through 12. So you'll see a wide variety of requests in this bid. I'm sorry, just give me a moment and I will let these people in. Okay. Get back to my share. Okay. So we do a bids on behalf of all of them. So when you see the bid, it will be a huge bid really for a wide variety of things. Our book bid has, for instance, 15 suppliers that have academic books, including textbooks. They have special binding services. We have specialized children's publishers, as well as extremely large publishers like Baker and Taylor and Barnes and Noble. So usually the smaller items, libraries will go out to bid for on their own, and the very large bids will be on behalf of all of them. So that's what we do for them. We came into being by state statute as the resource center for the libraries. We're a statewide consortium, and as part of our partnerships, we have the state library who often help us with the bid evaluations. We were founded on July 1st, 2003, and it was a result of the regional service centers coming together and creating one specific center where all the libraries could come for their resources. We do these statewide bids, but we also do librarian training. We have over 136 roundtables a year that represent about 35 different groups. Those groups include a library directors group, we have technology groups, we have children's librarians groups. They all meet in roundtables. We host all of the roundtables, and we have face-to-face interactions with over 15,000 attendees a year. So when we put out a bid, all of those people have seen and had input on the bids that we're putting out. So we work very closely with all of our members to make sure that we're doing what they need from us. So we have those trainings, and we also host the job board. So any library that has a job in Connecticut that they are posting, we post on our site. And we also host free resources for libraries. So we are an all-encompassing service for libraries to come to us for various things that they need in the community. So this is the response for the request for response. And by the way, if you do have any questions, leave them in the chat. I'm going to look at them at the end so that I can flow through the bid documents for you and let you know what to do. This is the request for response. We're going to be looking at that first. Actually, I'm going to stop share and I'm going to show you the schedule first. Okay, so every time we do a bid, we work on a master workflow. Sure, some of you who worked with us before have seen the master workflow, but our contract workflow, we stay very close to the dates that we set for a meeting. The reason why we do the bids for the community is because it takes 3 to 6 months to do a bid, and they're very time consuming, and many libraries just don't want to do bids. So our service is that we do the big bids. It takes 3 to 6 months to do them. We go through the entire process and we give them vetted vendors to be able to use for all the goods and services they need without them having to go out to bid. That's very significant because bidding is time consuming, and there's a lot of laws that we have to deal with, both state laws and federal laws that federal now that we have gone through the pandemic situation. The CARES Act did implement several federal laws that now states have to follow, and it includes laws for grants for states. And I'm sure you've heard of ARPA, the grant. There's a universal grant law now, the federal law that states have to follow. So we go through this schedule. You can see that the pre-bid meeting happened on January 25th of 2022. We wrote the RFP and we had bid meetings with our community. We do the bid itself, went out on 3/8, and there's several tasks that we have to do, and mainly that's posted to the DAS website. And then when we open all the bids, that will be on the 12th, as you saw at the beginning. We do several things to make sure that the bids are fair and open. There's a couple of things that I have to do in terms of spreadsheets to send out to the bid evaluation team. And then we have an evaluation team meeting with our evaluators. The team evaluates all the bids. We have not set up the time for that yet. And then we upload our awards and no awards to the Department of Administrative Services website. So this time, We work closely with the state library. We work with legislators to do legislation on behalf of libraries. And we work with the Board of Regents for state and academic institutions and other state consortiums. So for this bid, we have the head of the Board of Regents for state academic institutions is going to be one of our evaluators. Another evaluator is going to be the executive director of the Library Connection, which is a non-profit cooperative of libraries. They share the ILS, the integrated library system that all libraries use for borrowing. And then we also have one of our board members who is also the director of one of our public libraries. And she will be working on behalf of public libraries. And we also have one from K through 12. Our own executive director will be on the evaluation committee. So we have subject matter experts that will be going through these bids and of course, utilizing the bids. The head of the Board of Regents for state and academic libraries will utilize the bids for community colleges and state colleges in Connecticut. The library consortium that has the ILS system will be utilizing the contracts for all libraries that are connected through the ILS system. And our K through 12 will be representing all libraries from the K through 12 system. So we have a lot of libraries that use these contracts, and we have a really good bid evaluation team that will be deciding the bid. Okay, so back to the bid document. Okay. So as you've seen, probably have downloaded, this is the request for response. The first thing you'll see is the table of contents and about CLC. So some of what I haven't mentioned before is that we currently have over 57 contracts with vendors for mission critical products and services for libraries. We do have the roundtables, the 35 different interest groups. We have a vendor relations manager who is our business development person, and she does all the outreach for some of these roundtables, and also for K-12 and academics is our specialty. And we have a lot of participation from libraries who give us all their feedback in how and what we bid for. The scope of this digital resources bid, the bid will start on July 1st. The contract will start on July 1st, 2022, and will run through 2025. There are two options to renew the contract. That's a mutual decision between the awarded supplier and the CLC. Successful contracts usually will go up to 5 years, but state law prohibits us from going more than state for 5 years. So 5 years is usually the extent of the contract, and then we have to rebid. We have members that participate, but we can't guarantee what members are going to participate because we have a wide variety of members and we don't know what we're going to get yet. But most of our contracts start at $2 million annually, so we can expect that this contract will be a $2 million contract. Some of them are much more. The book contract is, of course, like a $12 to $15 million contract, and then some of them are less. The subscription management contract is a $2 million contract. So it's a wide variety, and it depends on who participates, but it's an opt-in contract. In the state of Connecticut, there's a law that gives us a 25% set aside. And basically what that means is that municipalities are obligated to spend 25% of their public money on small and minority businesses. So in the bid, we have the small and minority business language. There's a site called the Federal SAM system that you fill out for your small business, and there's also a state of Connecticut small and minority business application that you need to fill out if you have if you want a certification, a state certification. So that is here, and the law is CGS 32-9N, And if you want to go there, and if you're a small business, we have a special selection for small and minority businesses that specifically speak to the state law on the 25% set aside. So in terms of what we're asking for in this bid, we've asked for ADL, which is advanced distributed learning. There are 4 or 5 different types of learning. There's informal, tailored. There's also synchronistic and asynchronistic learning. There's e-learning, web-based learning. All of those different learning types are under this advanced distributed learning resources bid. We have a lot of different libraries, some of them academic, some of them public, so they'll use downloadable and learning in different ways. So some examples are adult and general interest, jobs and careers, technology, languages, pre-K tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, live tutoring, higher education learning and curriculum support, crafts, hobbies, math, and science. So all of those are on the product sheet that we'll go over after this. The second thing we're asking for is digital applications. These are applications that libraries specifically use internally to do their business with patrons. So this can include like event calendars, museum passes, computer reservation, software, print management, mobile printing, anything that a library might use to help them run the library better. So this has been mostly requested by the public library system in our surveys that are looking for something in addition to the ILS systems that they have, because a lot of their patrons have gone online, and with the COVID event, a lot of online services have come to the fore, and face-to-face borrowing has happened less, and they're asking for digital services and ways to manage them more. So we're trying to speak to those requests from all of our libraries, and that's where the digital applications come in. The third thing we're asking for is downloadable and streaming media. This is pretty self-explanatory. Anything that's downloaded, including ebooks and comics, audio, music, video, and magazines, that is streaming. So that's the third one. And those are the 3 categories that we're asking for. So the awards will be made by the CLC, and they'll be acting in consultation with the evaluators that we spoke about. And one of the things that we are asking for, because digital services can be complex and it's very difficult to just put the product and the discount in the answer sheet, we are asking for a 2-page statement of understanding. Basically, this allows us to read about the product in a 1-page description so that we can understand better how this would help our libraries. And it also moves over to the marketing department once suppliers are awarded so that they can create your landing page. All of our members come to the landing pages and they look at them and utilize them to help them make decisions about what they're going to purchase. This is an important contract now because libraries, especially in the public arena, are getting their money in the new fiscal year starting July 1st and would like a contract in place on July 1st to start choosing those services. So we will have this contract in place for them by July 1st. So for the statement of understanding, we're asking for a maximum of 2 pages. However, 1 page can be added if you're offering multiple services. So we'd like your company profile, summary of your solution, the indication of your current market share in Connecticut to see if you already have a market in Connecticut, we can advertise that. If we have to build a marketplace, we approach that a little bit differently. So if you don't have market share in Connecticut, we have an introductory process that we use to introduce you to our members. A statement of the new and existing members that will be transitioned to the CLC contract. So if you already have members in the community and they're using your service, that's probably how you got on our vendor list. And they want you on a contract, then this is just letting us know how you're going to transition them. If you have a contract that has an end date that's, in a year from now, maybe it'll take a year for you to transition them. So all of those details can be put into your statement of understanding. And also an additional one-page description. If you have multiple products, it gives you another page to tell us about the other products that you might have. So if you're going to do one application, perhaps one streaming submission, you can have 2 different pages for that. There is a guide for proposal submissions, and these are the instructions for the submission. This is pretty self-explanatory, but what we're asking for is that you send us a proposal to the Connecticut Library Consortium, attention bids department. Please put bids department on it, because once your bid is opened, it can be disqualified if it isn't opened after the due date. So if you could please put bids department on the top, and it should include attachment 1 and attachment 2, which will be at the bottom of this bid proposal. Exhibit B, which is the pricing and discount schedule, your statement of understanding, and the bid forms. The bid forms are on the website, and they're basically the state forms. One is an ethics form that you've received, the website with the ethics information. That's just a signature form. It's all on one PDF. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of forms on the DAS so that you would be downloading a whole bunch of stuff. So I put them all in one PDF. One is the non-pollution form, and the other is a form of terms and conditions. And there's also a non-discrimination form. So those are regular state forms that you can read and sign, and they just need to be sent along. And then also a thumb drive with all of these forms to us, because the thumb drive is what we send to our evaluators. Okay, so that's due on by April 12th at 2 o'clock. Anything that is received after 2 o'clock, we may not accept. So we either will reject it at the door, or we will notify the supplier that it came after 2 o'clock. So one of the most common mistakes is that somebody sends something a day or 2 before, and then it doesn't get to us. So if you can give yourself enough time for to send the proposal out, that we will get it on time. And the other option is if you have files that don't fit on a thumb drive and you want to email them to me, please wait until after deadline, after 2 o'clock, maybe 5 minutes after. You have about an hour between 2 and 3 to send the, if you don't remember the thumb drive, to send them to me by email. So, and the email is on the top, as you've seen. There's some pretty common basic data about correction of bids, rights to waive informalities. Basically what that means is if there's something in the bid that's wrong or missing, as long as it isn't the key components of the bid, like you have to sign the bid, you have to send all of the forms. But if there's a mistake on the form, or if something was omitted and it doesn't have any bearing on how we would evaluate the bid, we can collect that afterwards. That's called an informality. So we can waive the informalities and accept. I will be calling actually between right after the bid closes. In that hour, I usually call suppliers and say, I don't have the whatever it is, can you send it right over? And we usually fix those things about an hour after the bid opens. So anything that doesn't come in, or that comes in wrong, or that we can't read, we can fix pretty easily, as long as we have the basic components of the bid in. Quantities and usages can be estimates. The addenda happens usually after the bid, after a supplier is awarded. We have a sales and savings report that we use, and we'll discuss the administrative fee in a moment. But we send that out in January and in July. So usually those are the times that we accept addendas, and we know that price changes happen in the community, and supply shortages have happened significantly in the community. So, and also of course, software charges I know have gone up quite considerably. So those things, if there's a change in pricing or if there's a change in contract, we usually do addenda during that time. So usually twice a year. I know that there's significant times in the last 2 years where we have done addenda during the year because prices were so fluctuated and people had to discontinue, especially in our furniture contract, had to discontinue some lines that they just couldn't get anymore. flat packs were significantly affected by that. So that's twice a year we do that. These are just some of the things you can read through. These are process questions about contracting and acceptable brands. So I won't go over those. We do happen to have on the bottom of one of the forms, area for a trial. If you want the evaluators to see a trial of your service, you can put trial information there to give them a place to go and a login information so that they can see how the application or software works. Okay, so I'm just going to go down to the terms. So I'm going to go through the benefits and benefits to members, benefits to vendors. For members, we do all the bid work and we provide a single contract on behalf of all the members that provides all the discounts and all the products and services that they need. For vendors, instead of replying to individual library bids, you only have to respond to this one bid on behalf of all 900 plus libraries in Connecticut. And the libraries as a group can use the service without having to do a bid of their own. So they can just choose. The reason why they like it is they can just choose a supplier that they want and use that supplier. Normally what happens is they will put out a public bid. They really want a certain kind of product, but they really only can accept whoever bids. And so they might not get what they want. And so they come to a consortium bid so that they can pick the supplier that they want or enjoy working with and not have to worry about the bid law. The caveat here is that the vendor pays us 2% of all sales to members. And basically, what does that mean? The fee pays for the 5 employees who work at the CLC to do this bid work on behalf of all the member libraries. It also supports the libraries in that they have a resource center that provides this service. So the members also pay a small stipend into the organization to support a common place as a clearinghouse for training, events, and public bids. In general, this is an alleviation to members having to do bid work and vendors for having to respond to multiple bids. We've already discussed who decides who gets awarded a CLC contract. Our 3 subject matter experts on the evaluation committee, the executive director for the Library Connection, the head of the Board of Regents for academic institutions, and the executive director, the person on the board of directors from the Ellington Middle School in Connecticut, and the executive director of the CLC. These are some of the terms. Let me see my time. Okay. All right. And then on the response sheet, this basically tells you all of the things that you are filling out. So if you just check as you go along the things on the response sheet, by the time you get to the bottom, you should have everything included in your bid that you need. The 2 attachments are attached to the bid. Attachment 1 is just information about your company, the bid category. You can just put in the bid category that you're going to be bidding in, the person that we're going to be working with as we work through the contract, website, federal ID, and then we're asking like when you can deliver your services. Since a lot of this is template, you know, when we can deliver or initiate services within a lot of times is the commodities, but if there is a timeline or a lag for the product that you're offering, just tell us how much time you need to deliver your service to a member. The second thing is the statement of qualifications. That's just information about your company and the 3 company references. At the bottom of this is the minority female business enterprise. We discussed that in 25% set aside. So if you do have a certification, please let us know what that certification is. We put you on a special list on our website that allows members to know exactly which suppliers that they will use when they're using their set aside money. And that's, here's your certification and licenses. Licenses might be software licenses and any certifications that you have that might be relevant to this bid. finally, we're going to go through the actual response document itself. The instructions basically ask you for your company name, the contact name that you'd like us to talk to, phone number, address, city, state, zip, and email. The bid questions, we have this because usually marketing jumps on this right after the bid is closed and we've done the awards. So one of the most important things is if you're, for instance, an academic software company and you only work with academics, we really need to know which members you work with. It doesn't have any bearing on whether you get awarded or not, because we are awarding a general amount of suppliers. So we just need to know if there are market restrictions, what they are. And the other important thing is how your bid will be better than what a non-member would get. So, you know, if there's a discount or if there's a premium service that CLC members are getting, if you could respond here for that service. The rest are basically regular questions that would be answered on the website. If a member were to come and find you, these are common questions that they ask. Sales and ordering questions are here. We just need the contact information for salespeople and ordering people, what your toll-free number is, and any usage data, statistical data available. The warranty and returns sometimes applies. This bid is questionable whether a warranty applies globally, but if one does, please include that in the warranty, returns, and customer service here. And then in the temporary online account, this is the trial information that we talked about a little bit earlier, how we would access that trial and what the evaluation committee member would use for a trial user ID. The three categories we're asking for is ADL, Advanced Distributed Learning. What we're asking for is for you to put the product name here and then generally check, I guess with an X, which category that product fits into. There's room for 5 products all the way down the sheet, but if you have to add more than 5, you'll have to add to the sheet just exactly the way it's presented to you here. We've asked for the product description for any specific product you ask. You give us, classify the audience, identify the methods of and format of the learning that you're offering, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, and available in different languages. So basically general questions about your product or service can go here, whereas further descriptions of your product and services can go in the statement of understanding that you will be presenting. So we're asking, so, you know, just to quantify the length of the learning experience, expected number of screens that might be used, the length and number of multimedia elements, and the level and type of interactions. So these are some general questions. And then at the very bottom, what the pricing model is, whether it's list price, MSRP, cost plus, or any other pricing model that you might have. And the other pricing model we're asking, because we're asking for on behalf of public libraries and academic institutions, we know that often you have 2 different price models. It could be population-based, card-hold-based, card-hold-based if it's a public library, or FTE if it's student-based for academics. Then the price of the product, the discount you're offering, and the CLC price. So there's one of these for, it's exact one of these for each of the 5 products for ADL. Applications are a little bit different, but not very much different. We're asking for the product name. We've given you 5 spots. We have, you know, some examples of what the product might be. There's so many applications that we did our best to find as many as possible. We did put other here in case it doesn't fit into any one of these specific categories, and some general questions about the products and services for the application. We've also given you 5 spaces to do that. It's actually asking for training, if training is available, are there usage statistics, product descriptions, and things like that. And the third one we're asking for is downloadable and streaming. So for this, we're asking for the product name and to X the category that you're in, and then just some general questions about that product. So those questions there's also 5 spots for those. They're related specifically to downloadable and streaming, the content that's offered, the access. So those would go here. For ancillary services, these are just general services. I mean, they may be something that apply to you. They may not. If there are fees charged, normally this is a pass-through. So sometimes there can be a discount, but normally the services, whether it's security, help desk, networking services, we just need to let our members know if it's available, and if so, how much. So all you need to do in this area is, if there are additional services, just include them and let us know how much they cost. We'll pass that on to our members. And if there are other services that we have not put here, you can put them yourself and tell us how much they cost, if anything, and what we need to tell our members in terms of what the service is. The additional discounts can be tiered discounts. We have a general volume price break between $5,000 and $999 and so forth. If yours is different, you can either use this chart or you can create one of your own next to it. Price breaks are often different depending on the company. Everyone has different parameters. This gives you a general idea of how something might look if you're doing tiered prices. We have some really big libraries and very big academic institutions that might fall within this price, or it may be like patron or student based. I mean, these numbers might be dollars, or they might be based on how many students. So if it's based on how many students, for instance, you can change the parameters and put your own here and tell us what the price break is for larger institutions if you happen to have them, or for the more you buy. The other discounts that you might offer, we have some examples here, but yours might be specialized to you. And if you have those other specialized discounts, you can put them here. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. I'm going to start answering some of the questions that you have in your okay. What are my questions? Oh. Okay. Do you want Exhibit B as a printed out copy and a digital Excel copy? We would like it as a printed copy if you can print it, but an Excel copy would be sufficient. A digital Excel copy would be sufficient on the thumb drive, or you can send it by email if you can't get it onto the thumb drive. But we need at least one copy of the Exhibit B on a digital resource. So if you can't copy it out, I completely understand. And we just need at least the bid copied and sent as a hard copy. Do you have to bid for both? No, you don't have to bid. You don't have to bid for everything. You can bid on what you can bid on. So you don't have to bid on EDU and PD and PL. You can just bid on what category that you want to bid on. Just let us know what you're bidding on. One page per streaming media format, such as a total of 5 pages. We have boxes. So if you have a streaming media, there's product 1, product 2, product 3, product 4, product 5 right on that page. So if you put more than one product at the top, just scroll down and there's room for a description and to answer questions on the Excel file. So if you're actually talking about the statement of understanding, you can have, if you have 5 products, you can have 5 pages. if you want to describe, you can do it in a paragraph if you want to, but you can have up to a page for each product that you want to describe. Okay. The next question is, would you be sharing the recording? Yes, this recording will be available for share. We're going to post it on our website, and we're going to send it to all of you who have registered for this meeting and anyone else who asks. Can you show us today how to fill out the Excel pricing doc? I think I did that. Heather, do you need me to go over that again? We're good now. Okay. Is a group discount required to participate in the bid? It is. And we consider a group discount as either a discount on the service you're offering or a premium service. And basically what that means is if there's something that you offer for a consortium group, when they go and when they participate all at once, that's fine too. Some premium services offer, free training or free whatever it is. So we consider that a discount as well. Will you be sharing a recording? Yes. Sharing a recording. Is it a requirement that CLC members not be able to receive the same or better offer elsewhere to participate in the bid process? Yes, the point of the bid is for them to get the best price with the bid that they've gone out for. So if they can get a better price from you without having a bid, and they're spending, they're not at the threshold, then there's no reason for them to come to the bid. We're doing a bid on behalf of the members, so we want to give them the best price on our bid documents. And if you have a better price out there, and you also are on the bid, they're going to use the better price out there. They're going to use the best. So you're in a sense competing against yourself. We're trying to sell your contract to them, and you're giving a better price outside the contract. So it's better to be in the contract because we can protect your margin. We can give the same discount to everybody else. And of course, this library community are all in the same community. They all talk. And if someone is getting a better deal, everybody's going to know. So it'll be really difficult if we have a better price out there. So that's why we ask for the best price for our members inside the bid, because it's a state contract that they all can use. We are an online software, and based on requirements, we do check mark some requirements, but not all. That's okay. That's okay. Just put not applicable on that would be fine. Is a GSA discount sufficient? Yes, it is. The federal guidelines for GSA are extremely stringent. FAR guidelines have all of the same, and more stipulations in them that state bids have. And often GSA and state bids collaborate a lot. So because GSA federal entities normally don't use state bids and state entities normally don't use federal, you have very little possibility of there being overlap where they would go to a GSA contract instead of one of ours. So I think that would be fine. Not sure about sliding discount possibilities. For example, if 50 members purchase our product, we would provide a larger discount than if 10 members purchase. So if you saw the bulk discounts on the answer sheet at the end, it was $1, like 5,000 to $9.99. You could also use person-based. So if you say 50 to 100 members get an extra 3%, 100 to 200 members get an extra 4%. You could do a chart like that and just put it on that sheet. If you have more questions about that, you can contact me and I can go over that with you. Are you adding a 5% administration fee to our pricing? No. We collect 2% from our suppliers. And often what I say to them is, no, 5% is if we invoice for a product. It's a completely different thing. So what I don't normally say is that we collect 2% to do our work. And so if you're gonna, if if you have like a 20% discount and you need to work that discount in, the fee in to take care of our fee, that you work it in with a discount. So instead of offering 20%, you might offer 18%, and with the understanding that we get 2% to do our work. So no, I don't know where the 5% admin fee came from, but no, we collect 2%, and we try to protect our suppliers' margins. That's why we do the bid for the entire state. So, you know, you have to work within your margin and also be able to do business safely, you know, without causing any, you know, difficulties in your company. Our pricing changes per the persona, staff members versus students. How should we quote pricing? You can quote, if you have the same product and you have one for staff members and one for students, you can put the same product on the top. You can say, put the same product on the top, and for one, fill out fill out product one. It's essentially two products. You fill out product one for staff members, fill out product two for students. If there's two sets of criteria. I hope that answers your question. I hope I understood it properly. Do we still invoice customers? No, what we do is we hold the state contract for all. It says, do we still invoice customers, or does all that go through CLC? We hold the consortium contract and we do the bid work. The member-vendor relationship is still between you and the member, but when you go for pricing and for discount, they quote the Connecticut Library Consortium contract, and they send the contract to the legal department, A, or the procurement department has to have some kind of contract. Or often it's, we have to quote it on the accounting invoice. So basically you have to quote the contract that we're going to use this consortium contract instead of going out to bid. So that absolves the member from having to go out to bid. But the member-vendor relationship is still between the members and the vendors. We often do dispute issues where we will represent the vendor with a member if there's a problem. So if there is a problem, you often get a call from me and I will tell you, okay, this is going on, what do you want to do? So that we also serve as the vendor liaison in those circumstances. Thanks, same platform. Okay. If a vendor is currently on another CLC agreement and submits reports and fees, if awarded the digital resources opportunity, would we combine the sales for both or keep them separated? What happens is on that sales report, we add another page. One is for this contract, one is for another contract. We have several suppliers that have digital resources that also sell books and also sell non-print media things. So if you're already awarded a contract, we would do the same report, two different tabs. Okay. So are there any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for coming. I hope this has been beneficial for you. If you have any further questions, my email is here, vendors@ctlibrarians.org. I want to thank you for coming and thank you for bidding. And I look forward to, enjoy the weather, I will. I look forward to reading all your bids. Thank you. Have a good day.